Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to Fast Fridays presented by the Maconi Setup Shop. We're revamped the format for the series, and tonight we have the trucks at Knoxville as one of our qualifying races for the upcoming monthly money race. For those of you who haven't joined us before, Fast Fridays is a weekly series by Maconi Setup Shop featuring a variety of cars and tracks each week. With the revamped format, we are seeing now drivers enter in order in races to enter 3 qualifying races, with the top 20 in points automatically looking into the money race. My name is Chris Wright, and joining me in the booth tonight is David Kruntz. Is that right, David?
It's Kreutz, yeah.
Kreutz. There we go. So it wasn't right. And he's also the producer tonight, so he's wearing a couple multiple hats over there tonight. Is David. And tonight the trucks Knoxville hit the track just like they do in real life and always put on a great show. With that in mind, what can we expect to see here tonight as the drivers prepare to hit the track?
Been a long while since we went to Knoxville of all circuits. We've seen a few dirt races in Fast Friday competition previously, but none of which have featured these C-Class trucks. Taking it back in the history books of this league and this series, you'd have to take it back to some year ago, a matter of fact, the C-Fix Truck Series introduced with Eldora and the trucks, but it was not at Knoxville, and Knoxville brings that different characteristic which we once saw it here with, I believe at that time, street stocks. Now, trucks, heavier, they're right down, plowing on the ground, and we got a few drivers who have gotten some experience in the trucks and the dirt world with us today. Our very own Brayton Laster going to be helping us out, but we got a lot of drivers who are, in all honesty, unknowns, and we'll have to focus on those guys as much as the ones we know to figure out what exactly we should expect. Think about this, Mo. We only have 50 laps in the main. We only have ourselves a 10-lap heat coming up and a consolation race at that. So 21 drivers are expected to make it to our feature. And with that being said, the question in lies, who's going to make it in off the time and who's going to be able to drive it the quickest? Because consolation with 15 or so drivers expected, not going to be easy in its own right. 22 drivers so far have set a time. Brayton Laster finds himself in 16th, and it's Memphis Villarreal up to the top of the board so far by 8/1000ths of a second. Overall competitors with an average lap speed of 82 miles an hour. Not a fast track by any means, but a track where racing comes and goes on a week-by-week basis.
Yeah, and you mentioned 50 laps out here, but there are no tire limits, but I'm not sure how much new tires are going to help you tonight. There's really no banking. You mentioned Eldora, got that banking. Eldora's a really fast dirt track. There's not a whole lot of banking out here, and 50 laps is only 28 miles. So this race is going to have the opportunity to fly by. And Fast Fridays here. We are at the Knoxville Raceway tonight, and I believe next week is going to be late models at Dover. And get into Gen 4 in Michigan, GT3s at Watkins Glen, Legends at South Boston, and then trucks at Talladega will be the end of the schedule as of I see it right now. So it should be a great rest of the schedule, and tonight is going to be a great race here at Knoxville, Iowa.
And watching one of the only drivers taking a lap right now, that's Brayton Laster here. He's trying out all the grooves and told us that he's looking to see that top side come in during the long run at our main 50-lap feature. Might take a long time to get there, but it is definitely worth it if you can break in that upper groove. And that's exactly what Brayton's trying to figure out right now. That time through, he ran a 23.154, which was slower than his qualifying lap and wouldn't have put him anywhere higher in the order. He's 17th on the grid, and he is one of 20 drivers to automatically qualify themselves in. We have one heat, which is 3 minutes in length. It won't advance anyone, and we are expecting to skip through this portion. In all honesty, let's figure out what happens, as it looks like on the circuit now, we're not given the command to skip the session yet, but we have a 3-lap heat in between, maybe preparation for our consolation race. Looking there, we got Aaron Shiflett on the circuit, and it looks like now it's going to be only Shiflett and one other driver, and Gavin McCool. Shiflett, last time we saw him in this truck was, give or take, 2 months ago. That paint scheme designed by the great Dylan Body, paint scheme of the year on Trading Paints in 2023, and designed for Body as he was a driver in the Highline Racing League Culture Designs Truck Series, which was broadcasted on FTN Broadcasting. Body's paint schemes, we see them almost everywhere, wherever you look. Just a little tidbit about that driver, Shiflett, running one of the most iconic paint schemes of 2023, and, of course, decorated paint paint scheme designer, looking to get a decorated race victory. Aaron Shiflett is one of only 4 drivers on the track right now in this 3-lap heat, which is, again, not going to advance anyone here. So interesting to see. We're not going to skip through. Nevertheless, Chris, we got ourselves a minor taste of what's ahead.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, they were not going to skip through here. I think they might have to run. I think maybe one guy is going to get eliminated in this heat, right? There's 4 of them out here.
No signs this means much of anything for the qualifying or elimination. 0 to the feature, which means everyone you're seeing here will race again. They'll race in the consolation events.
Yeah, so this is going to be very odd. It's going to be 3 laps, 3 quick laps out here, too. That's not going to take much time at all. I don't think we're going to see a caution. It's just these 3 guys, and they're going to get a chance for us to talk about what they've got going on here. As you mentioned, they're starting on the pools in this race is going to be Aaron. To his outside is Gavin, and then, yeah, one car didn't pull off a pit road here. Jason Stewart, looks like he's supposed to be out here. That's where I was getting my 4th one from right there as the green flag comes out.
Green's out, and it looks like Aaron Shiflett is going to give up that race lead rather quickly. I wouldn't expect all too much of what we're seeing here. The number 26, Gavin McCool, pulls away, and very little trouble for Gavin to lead down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Working on the high side, Aaron's going to stay middle groove. Which driver's not going to be going to that bottom. Looks like maybe trying to find their groove up high, through the corners anyway, trying to push out of the corner with a little bit more momentum here. Lap 2 of 3, one driver spins there. That's Jason Stewart. He'll go down to pit road, and I think Gavin McCool's got this one gift wrapped, although it doesn't mean much.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are giving everything that they've got. I think this is more of a, they're treating this like a test session. I do see that it was advanced, but just not quite in the nick of time for the advancement there. So we will get to see this as the white flag comes out. And like you mentioned, Gavin trying to get it right up there along that guardrail, trying to figure out those limits here while there's no real punishment for stepping a little bit over the line as he is driving away. The battle is going to be on for second here. As right now, Ty holds it, and he's driving away, driving up towards the back of Gavin as they will come off of here, and heat number 1 is in the books.
Gavin McCool wins your one and only heat tonight, although it won't advance him into the main race. He does get that first taste of the checkered flag here before we move on to our 10-lap consolation in which 4 drivers will make their way to the feature race. Now, only 4 drivers opted to go for that first heat. Maybe these 4 drivers get a chance again to head down to the track and automatically qualify themselves. Well, there's Gavin. He just won. It looks like with them, Aaron Shiflett. And then from there, we're expecting 2 more drivers to put themselves in. However, if it's going to be just these 4 guys, really not much a story. Matter of fact, it looks like they're all going to be locked in immediately.
Yeah, if it's what it's looking like. It's just these 4 guys. So are they going to get to run this as well? This would be 10 laps. I think you would learn, a lot more in 10 laps of a race session than you would. Oh, and I think we got a 5th.
There's Gabriel Gotti. Jason Stewart briefly popped up on the track. Got a little bit of time, though, between the action-packed moments. So, a driver I'd like to speak to? Brayton Laster. Let's bring him up here. He got us some real good race notes and what we should expect to see today, and already qualified firmly into the main race without having to go through this last chance qualifier. Ooh, the stakes. 5 drivers. 1 will go home, Brayton. How are you feeling about what we're looking at here at Knoxville?
Yeah, I'm thankful I was able to lock in there and qualify. I was a little worried. I played a very conservative lap. I ran a very conservative lap. In the first lap and the second lap, I was going to try to bounce the right rear off it in the wall and try to get a run, make up some time there. And we didn't get that second lap in without bouncing off the wall because the way I raced for qualifying. So we're going to be rolling off deep in the field, just past the midway point. But I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good race, good show. And the guys are constantly ready to roll 5 cars for 4 spots. So we're seeing some stuff torn up here, I'm sure.
You mentioned seeing some stuff torn up here. We want to see a clean race, 10 laps, 10 great laps, and these boys come across the line 5 wide. What do you think the odds of that are?
Well, I was 3 wide in practice, and this track you can definitely go 3 wide here. It's not going to work out for too long, but you can definitely do it. And we went 3 wide for 2 laps in practice, and then we had probably the worst wreck that Knoxville race I've ever seen. So 5 wide might be asking a little bit too much. We got one driver, though, ripping a lip. But I think that top's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to knock the right rear off it, and I'll be lucky if I finish off 50 laps here in a couple minutes.
real quick before they go green. All right, everybody wants to make the show. You don't want to have to race your way in, but what are these guys going to be able to learn right here that you guys in the race might not have picked up on just yet?
Well, we got to warm up, after this race. I don't know if Jeff's going to skip that, but I know I'm going to be watching these guys, see what line they're running, and see how the track develops.
Here we go. The green is out. 5 guys for 4 spots. Ooh, little bumper cars. 12's ready to go. He does not want to be in that 5th spot. And just like you mentioned, there we are, 3 wide for the lead. Already lap 1, getting together, making some contact. Full contact sport out here, boys.
They're going to have that. I'm going to go ahead and head back, but I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good one, and watch me knock the right rear off in a couple minutes.
All right, well, good luck, and maybe we'll be talking to you a little bit later on.
I hope so.
Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Well, David, all of a sudden the battle is on for 2nd place as Jason Stewart out there in the Shocker ice cream truck driving away just a little bit, leaving Ty and Gabriel to run for 2nd and 3rd. We got Gavin back to 4th and Aaron at a very distant 5th right now.
Yeah, Aaron Shiflett's going to need someone up here to make a mistake if he's got any chance at making it up into the main feature. Contact with Gotti once again. Ty Marsh banging doors, banging fenders with the 12. No avail so far for Gotti, who's got no way to make it out without a little bit of a mistake. There goes the 37. Ty Marsh up into the wall, but still comfortably inside the top 4 as Gavin McCool now comes up for a chance to get inside the podium here. Now, with only 5 drivers heading in and only 1 driver being knocked out, these drivers, I think up ahead, they're not concerned at all about which spot they get. They're just concerned about making it in the main as a whole. So don't expect all too much of aggressive driving right now. Jason Stewart's got the race lead, and he looks rather comfortable in the position he holds. And Gavin McCool is going to fall back once again as Ty Marsh tries to get back up to Gabriel Gotti, but so far that is to no avail. Oh, a little bit of a slide there from the number 37, and Marsh has to keep it straight. He's getting awful close to the limit there, hoping not to go for a full 360. 10 seconds back is Aaron Shiflett right now in your race leader, and 7 back on the 37. So it looks like right now everyone in a real comfortable position, even if you are like the number 26 of Aaron Shiflett. Looks like everyone's going to be running their own line, holding it to their own standards, and shouldn't have to worry all too much about another driver involving themselves in it.
Yeah, one thing I'm saying out of this 37, he might need somebody in his ear to say, hey, look, only 1 guy's getting sent home here tonight. Just run the middle of the track, slow your pace down, whatever you need to do, because he's been bouncing all over the berm on the bottom, up against the guardrail in the corners. All he's got to do is just make just about 3-4 more laps here, and he will be in the big show tonight. And unfortunately, Aaron just keeps falling back further and further. He is over 10 seconds now behind 4th, and that is the story of this race, is that Aaron looks to be the guy, unless something drastic happens, that will be sent home and have to watch this race from the grandstands tonight.
And Shiflett's going to go up to the top side once again. Can't find any speed or rhythm. And so now, with only 2 laps remaining as leaders come across the stripe, it'll be the number 54 of Jason Stewart holding it up once again. A race leader, and he's been up there since the first lap. It'll be a pretty easy win at that for Jason. And then Gabriel Gotti's going to be second. 3rd spot's going to be occupied then and there by, well, Ty Marsh. And you got 4th for Gavin McCool. Those are the 4 drivers that will be able to make it into this main race. And then from there, you'll see him go down the ladder with the 20 that qualified on speed. Gotti going up the track and finding it down low, hunting for some speed, but it won't be enough. 3-second advantage now for Jason Stewart as he brings us to the final lap and is set to win this one.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I think Gavin is out here. We saw what he did in the 3-lap heat there, and I've seen him running different lines, doing some different things. I think Gavin's playing a little bit of possum out here, just trying to run some different lines and hoping nobody catches on. But we see you right here, Gavin. We see what you're doing. As Jason Stewart has won the consolation, Gabriel, Ty, Gavin, and unfortunately Aaron working his way here through 3 and 4. He will get lapped here, but that doesn't matter. Everybody's done except for him, and Aaron will unfortunately watch this race here from the grandstands with us.
And so that ends it for Aaron Shiflett, the one and only driver, eliminated from this event. Jason Stewart now going to be burning down the house for the few final seconds of the session, and so we move on to your main race. 50 laps on the table here, as drivers are going to have a brief warm-up session. We'll see whether or not they choose to use it. 5 minutes here, which will be automatically skipped. And so now your 50-lap main is coming right up.
Yeah, and real quick here, while we've got a minute, and we want to give a shout out to our great sponsors here tonight. Of course, MaconiSetupShop.com. They're the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event promotion, and more on the iRacing service. You can subscribe to that for as low as $8 a month. They are the official setup shop of eNASCAR, official sponsor of the NASCAR C-Fix series. And if you like what you see out here tonight, you can sign up for Fast Fridays at www.MaconiSetupShop.com/Fast Fridays to earn points towards the monthly money race. So make sure you visit MaconiEntertainment.com to watch live broadcast, learn about the series we broadcast, or fill out our broadcast interest form to see your league or special event live on the air. And as we are gridding up here for our main event here tonight, 50 laps, 28 miles, Memphis will start on the pole with Dale right behind him, Austin, John, and Jared round out the top 5. But some of those guys that we've already gotten to watch tonight who will be starting out back here, we've already talked about them. Gavin's going to start shotgun on the field there in 24th, but he's got 2 races under his belt. And that's a good fair amount of practice out there in a race type session with Gabriel back there, Daniel. All these guys are out back. We talked to Brayton Laster, excuse me. He's going to roll off 17th. But just talking to him there and spending a little bit of time with him, I think he's pretty confident that he can get there from 17th. What do you think, David?
Well, I don't think everyone who's on the starting grid number to number is with us, but a good majority of those who are taking qualifying times and set heat laps have arrived. Memphis, though, with that impressive top time, going to lead the field to green. It's the 22 up at the head of the field for 50 laps at Knoxville. The green flag's out, and so the field goes with fireworks billowing in the background. It's going to be double file and maybe some 3-wide action. Jeff Maconi, heart of the field right now, watching the battle side by side, but no major contact as the field now puts itself together for lap number 2. Tobias Matheson just ahead of Jeff Maconi, and to no avail so far for any drivers trying to make big moves. Looks like these 50 laps could come and go quick if everyone stays calm and respectful, just like what we're seeing right now.
Well, we've got a caution on the speedway. Not sure where it is at.
Jason Stewart going to go around, your heat winner, your last chance consolation winner, rather, and he's going to still be sliding up the circuit.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Got down there on the and he towed as well. Well, that's not what he was hoping after he just won that 10-lap consolation prize. Just got hung up there, couldn't get off there, and well, that's not what you want there at the start of the race, is to be the first caution. You see, once again, there he is trying to take off, and
looks like that's going to end Jason's night.
Yeah, unfortunately that is. He has left. He probably frustrated, a little bit embarrassed, and thinking, man, we won that consolation, and we, you have to think when you win the race to get in, that maybe, just maybe, you can find your way to the front and have a leg up on these boys. But one thing I did see there when we were watching them race there for those couple laps, the 14 car of Simon Magus back there in the field immediately went up and started just ripping the fence, trying to make time. Not sure how much time that he was making, but it was the highest I'd seen anybody run on the track, and they were not losing any time. Like, if anything, they were staying in the same spot. So curious to see what kind of different lines we get to see these guys run as the race wears. And iRacing's got that dynamic track even on the dirt, so this lane will wear. You'll get big spots in the dirt, and there will be defined lanes later in this race.
And we're due to go green for the first time as a restart tonight. It's going to be, of course, Memphis Villarreal leading with Dale Slides there in second. Top 2 drivers able to keep their positions from that initial start, and a lone single car spin brought us under yellow. So I'm thinking here we could get back into that rhythm and hopefully avoid any other trouble. as we have 18 drivers left on the field tonight. Looks like when it comes to Brayton Laster, he's up to 13th already, so up 4 on the day. Let's see what else he can do, as we've been watching with that number 13 all night long. Nevertheless, the number 22 of Memphis leads us back in for your first restart of the day. Side by side just behind it, it's going to turn to the battle for the lead. Jared Davis looks low, and he's going to put his eyes on the prize up in front, but can't quite get there. Going to have to back off to open up this run again.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys moving all around once again, moving up the racetrack. Got a little bit of contact back there. The 90's going to miss the line a little bit, go all the way up there against the guardrail, but does not get any kind of damage back there on his machine, so the flow racing machine will be able to continue on as the 30 takes himself to the lead there. You see a lot of these guys trying to stay close to that bottom, ripping right around that berm that we've talked about a few times tonight. And we have also seen how easy it is to get a little bit too low. But I do think this line is going to move up here in the next 15 or 20 laps, and these guys will be able to run anywhere and everywhere. Ooh, a little bit of contact, a little bit of stack up. Everybody manages to get through there, takes care of each other. That took a lot of give and take right there. It might not have looked like it, but when you get 3 trucks kind of lined up like that, it's real easy for somebody to end up spun out, and everybody took care of one another right there.
Jordan Lathan going to be right alongside Dale Slides and Memphis Villarreal for the battle for second. It keeps on going, and it looks like now Jared Davis getting away with that race lead. He burst out on that restart, and it was just enough to take the top spot. Meanwhile, you'll see Jeff Maconi now battling with Casey Sandwich, only a few tenths of a second ahead. Tobias Matheson has been keeping Jeff honest, both of which have been able to make it up inside the top 10. Started just outside confines, and now they're inside the single digits looking to make something work, as we got a spinner nearly. Memphis able to save it, but nevertheless lost an awful lot of momentum, headed down to the apron of the track, and comes up just ahead of Dale Slides there.
Yeah, and right now this is a great long run, but we nearly saw it come to an end, but thankfully there's a lot of room down there for that 22 machine to save it after a little bit of contact with the 4. They all get lined back up, and I don't even think the 22 lost a spot. Just wanted to get some camera work there on his car and wanted to be able to be seen. What a great shot right there, too, off of turn 2. Even down here. Oh, we got contact. Oh, and we got a spinner. Oh, Jeff's going to run into the wreck.
Jeff Maconi involved, and it looks like Jordan Lathan too. The call on the field, no yellow flag yet, and it looks like, as Gabriel Gotti nearly spins, no yellow flag until now. Cautions out. Jordan Lathan and Jeff Maconi, among others, are going to get the beating of it, and let's find out again what just happened, as it looks like side-by-side racing. Memphis and Jordan ended up turning a little bit rougher, as, coming up to Jared Davis, checking up, but not enough. Then Jeff Maconi gets piled into it, and it looked like Gabriel Gotti at the tail end almost went spinning on his own. Nevertheless, Lathan with damage, and Jeff Maconi definitely torn up as well.
26 nearly gets in there real late. Wow, that would have been bad. You know, I'm gonna say something here that maybe you might not agree with, but I don't think anybody's real tore up over there.
I don't think so either.
All right.
Everyone should have been able to get away from that one. And now, as everyone puts themselves together for our second restart, should be going back green at about lap number 16 out of 50 when we go back at it and get the green flag rolling again. Call on the field might actually shorten the yellow flag by a lap or so to bring us back to more green flag racing. Second caution on the night here from Knoxville. Jared Davis still top driver, and it looks like now second will be Dale Slides after that contact.
Yeah, and one thing here that I'm seeing, and I know you're seeing it too, David, is how slick that bottom half of the racetrack is getting. And we've got one truck running up the track here under caution. I believe it's the 73, and he's trying to run up there in the dirt that hasn't been ran in too much, trying to see maybe what kind of traction he's got up there. Now that I say that, he's pulled back down there out of that line, but you can see it here. It's very defined where the guys have been running versus where they haven't been. And I think we're going to see that track change, and everybody all at once is going to pop up towards the top to get on that fresh dirt. You see it right here. Look how clear that is right there. He's running right through where the dirt is changing.
And Brayton Laster predicted, of course, when we were talking to him, we're expecting to see that upper side eventually come into play, and we might see it sooner than later here. 1 lap to green, and we go back to green, lap number 16 of 50 here. Time to get back at it, very close to our halfway marker already, and Jared Davis has proven to be the fastest man on the circuit so far. Looking to get to the green flag with Davis in control, and Dale slides in the catbird seat. Green flag's out again. It's going to be now Jared Davis leading the field to green with some side-by-side action. Memphis, your pole sitter, looking to take second place right back as he slides a groove lower in the number 22.
Yeah, and we see a lot of guys go right back to the bottom, right down there on that slick dirt. It tells me it's not too slick just yet, but it is getting there. Oh, and we are under caution once again.
Yellow flag's out, the reason being it looks like Jeff Maconi up in the wall, and alone Jeff is, but he will bring out the yellow
we're
flag.
wrecking here under caution on the front stretch. The 24, wow, they somehow were able to get everybody back straight, but they jammed up here on the front stretch and nearly wrecked under the caution.
Maconi, though, it looks like for his case, he was up there in the middle groove trying to work side by side with Gabriel Gaddy. Gabriel came down and hooks up Jeff Maconi. And so from there, the rest of the field gets away. 3 wide, Tobias Matheson there. And it looks like he was with Darren Bass. And Bass right here, contact. And he will stay just straight. Tobias Matheson also catching a piece.
Yeah, very fortunate there, and Jeff's going to be pretty frustrated, but I once again, I don't think he's too tore up. I think he's all right. Just going to have to reset and try to get up through there again. And you're seeing it right here. It is, you know, don't let the long green flag run we have there for you. Dirt is one of the hardest things to race on. It is not easy, and that you're seeing it right here, especially on these restarts. It is very hard to get going and kind of always be out of control. You never, as you see here under caution, not even easy under caution.
Checkups as we get ready for a restart. The reason being, it's a shortened yellow flag, and so it's time to go back green once again. And we only just got to the yellow. Green flag's out. Restart number 3. Jared Davis with another great start. And it looks like Jared getting real used to having that race lead. I don't know about you, Chris. I think it's about time Jared gets those runs off the corner and pulls away for his liking anyhow. Tobias Matheson now facing some side-by-side wheel-to-wheel action again. And he's getting pressured, and it looks like maybe a little bit of right side damage. Minor, but visible for that 75.
Yeah, it's only minor. Little bumps and, little bit of bumps and bruises there. And like you mentioned, right now, Jared's been out front a long time, but when you're out front, it is very hard to know when you need to move the line around. It's a lot easier when you're back here in traffic to know when it's time to move up, to know when something else starts working than it is if you're the lead car. And, you know, kind of have to wait until you get past her or see it in your mirror coming at you and be able to judge where everybody else is running. But it just looks like that top side is not quite ready yet. Everybody's funneled back to the bottom, even though it is starting to get a little slicker. It's just still the place you need to be running. We've got the 90 trying to move forward here on the 24. And both trucks trying to run underneath the unused dirt to this point.
Taking a nice look at Angel Delgado here, just ahead of Darren Bass and Tobias Matheson. Delgado in the Flow Racing machine is going to be just a little bit higher. Upper middle groove, shall we say. Clearly defined racing groove at this point. We haven't seen drivers necessarily make the full switch up to the highest side. Brayton Laster has remained in 13th so far, so maybe not having the most success with respect to making his way up to the front of the field, but not a lot of time under green, and maybe he's going to benefit more from that very long run. Jeff Maconi is going to be behind him in 14th and hasn't quite been able to make up any moves in his own. As you can see here, Laster going to have to overcorrect after Daniel Selway nearly got up the circuit and found himself in Contact City. Side by side, just ahead of him. It's going to be 2x2 in multiple places, but oftentimes that's not really a battle. It's more so trying to compete for the same line. You could dive into it. You could end up there to begin with. Either way, it might look like a fight for position. A lot of times these drivers are just trying to feel their own grooves out without impeding upon one another.
Yeah, and one thing I'm seeing right now is some guys have started moving up, trying it, but each time somebody moves up to try that upper line, they give up a spot or two, they go back to the bottom, and it's almost like everybody's just not quite there yet, which we're getting to the point now. We are halfway through this race, if it doesn't come in a hurry, I don't know if the top's going to come in at all during this race here. So that's why you're wanting to see a lot of green flag laps. The more green flag laps we have, the more this groove will widen out.
25 laps to go. Take a look once again at that battle for the runner-up position. Memphis, Villarreal, Dale Slides, and, of course, John Lucido in that fourth spot here. A little bit of beating and banging, and the 4 has to let up, giving way to Memphis once again to have that second spot. He is just above the confines of the 4 and 73, using that higher side, and maybe he'll be one of the first drivers to work up all the way to the wall. But wall riding or working around there does not look to be the popular decision for most drivers, and still you can see them leaving a lot of room. Oh, contact, and there's going to go to 73. John Lucido is going to get in it, and it looks like up and over. That's going to be Lucido's stop. In addition, here comes multiple slower drivers. Zach Pecci looks to get through, but Ty Marsh slow down to a halt. Here comes John Lucido, and he's coming up on Ashton Pritchard, who just went down and in and towed after going airborne. Take a look at this.
Yeah, these guys right out there in front of him, you see just a little bit of a right hook, and then he takes a... That's not a ride you want to take at any racetrack. Very unfortunate. Nowhere really for him to go. The car didn't even roll over for him to drive away because it doesn't look like it's too terribly torn up.
Ashton going to be flipped up like a can opener, popped to the upside down state that he was in, and no choice but to go down to pit road and reset fully. So that's basically his race set and done. One and only man on pit road is with 22 laps to go. We are getting ready again, Chris, to go green for a very short sprint to decide your race winner and, of course, conclude the podium tonight. So far, Jared Davis has been the man as we assemble 2x2 once more. How do you feel about his chances to go all the way and win this one?
Well, I think as we're progressing here and getting these yellows, I think every yellow, Jared's got to feel better and better. The fact that the top hasn't came in, it's not going to be given the opportunity to come in if we keep getting yellows. So I think he's sitting here thinking if we can run 5 or 6 more laps, catch one more yellow, I mean, he might not even need it with just 20 to go. And I don't think the top's going to come in quite like we maybe thought it was, or I thought it would here before we started.
Now let's see what Jared Davis can do, what's left of this race. Perhaps a more aggressive attitude going to be taken for the drivers who are just behind him here, knowing time cannot be wasted. Might see a little bit more aggression, as we've seen in the middle of the back and a little bit further back. That was the battle for second, mind you, that caused that trouble. John Lucido is back on the circuit, and he is still on the lead lap. However, he's currently running in the 15th place, so not the best position to be in. And nevertheless, we will go green again with 19 laps to go. Not much longer than our feature to get the last chance qualification in. Here we go again. Now, a last-ditch effort for another driver to beat Jared Davis as everyone stacks up 2x2 once more. Number 30 going to be at the top of the charts, looking to bring us back again. Green flags out now with 19 laps to go, and Davis once again with a wonderful start.
Yeah, great start. He's getting out there. They're trying to work that top side, and it seems like it's trying to come in down there in 1 and 2, but it just isn't quite there enough. We got the battle on behind them, but it's all taking place behind them. We got the 14 back up there, ripping that guardrail again. Just doesn't look like they can carry the speed that they need to, as the 14 goes right back to the bottom. I give some of these guys an A for effort. Some of these guys keep moving up to try it, and they keep hoping that it's going to work. But it just hasn't worked yet, as the 4 machine is trying to get around the 90. They both driving up on the 22 here, but it's all for second on back, as Jared right now is just able to do what he needs to do. Keep these boys behind him with just, 16 to go when we come back here to the start-finish line. Riding on board here with Dale. Dale slides. He might need to slide on somebody here to make these spots. And you can't overstate enough just how good these guys are running right here at the front. Those trucks are not easy to drive. These guys are really good at this, and they're going to make contact there. Wow. That could have been big.
Angel Delgado nearly going to give up all those positions, and he's going to go again for some contact, trying to budge and shove his way in a second. No use so far, but the closest he's gotten has only been door to door. 15 laps remaining now, and it looks like for Angel Delgado's chances, it's going to come all down to whether or not he can push and shove his way in. Nothing much else. Jeff Maconi's back inside the top 10. We mentioned that he had a few struggles all throughout the race. As high so far today as 7th, as low as 18th. Jeff Maconi's been around the block and then some in this race, and I think he's looking for a calm and comfortable ending to what's been overall an erratic event for this 0-3 team. Not a bad spot to be in now. He could catch up to Jordan Lathan or Darren Bass just ahead of him. And maybe with that in mind, he's got a chance here to pull through and maybe even back up a top 5 if there's some problems, as he's coming up clearly on Jordan. It looks like Jeff still has the pace to compete and contend as side by side for second. Look at where Memphis goes, and it looks like the 22, the first of many to try the high side as a last-ditch attempt. Not going to work out immediately, but I'm sure he's going to try again. Up goes Angel Delgado by force, giving the bumper. And now here comes again Dale Slides with Tobias Matheson. Now they're dooring each other down the front straight. And here we go. Dale Slides trying to hang on, but an ever-aggressive Angel Delgado looking for vengeance in the final dozen laps.
Yeah, and I think what these guys have decided is that they think the 22 might be the worst driving truck right now out of this top 5 or 6, and they're trying to get around him. The 90's going to slide. He's going to spin. Oh, the 75's going to pay the price.
Tobias Matheson destroyed. Yellow flag going to fly, and that's a innocent bystander to getting the worst of it. His motor's blown. He's going to have to go back to pit road by any means if he wants a chance to keep on competing and use his one and only fast repair. Caution's out. Take a look at it again. It looks like Matheson really just fell into the problem.
Yeah, you had the 90 and the 22 going at it, and the 4 was a little bit of the innocent bystander there. 90 might have been frustrated, and then the 90 and 4 make contact, and the 75 pays the price for everything that has went on in the last 2 laps. Very unfortunate there for that 75 machine. And like you said, that blew him up, so.
It's a harsh truth for Tobias Matheson. Racing sometimes comes to points just like that. So for Tobias in the ballpark 75, he will head down to pit road, get himself reset, and you can look at that. The engine smoke has magically disappeared. He's on the lead lap and finds himself now in 13th, but getting back up to the position where he was, firmly in the top 5. It's not going to be easy here as Jared Davis is looking to hold fort and get the job done with an 8-lap restart just ahead of us.
How about that engine change? Great pit work down there by the ballpark guys. About 3 seconds to get a new motor in there. That's incredible pace.
And here we go again. Double file now. One last restart. If we do not get to the white flag without another yellow flag, we might just see a green-white checkered put into place. That, of course, remains to be seen, but hopefully these drivers don't get to the point where it becomes a troublesome caution fest. Finish off this final stint. 25 laps to go. We had our previous caution, and now we have 8 laps left. It's Jared Davis versus the world now for the race win, and I'm sure he'd love to be the victor in this all-against-one battle for the ages. Green flag flies for what could be the final time in Knoxville. 8 laps to go. Nice move out there for Jared, and here comes Angel Delgado. With them, Dale Slides, Jordan Lathan, even Jeff Maconi now going to be on the back end of this lead battle. Let's see what happens now as Memphis and Angel continue their rivalry. And now Jordan Lathan slides high. Drivers are using that top side for the first time.
The 90 gets together once again, checks them all up, and there goes Jeff down on the bottom. Jeff might have been involved in 2 of the first 3 cautions of the night, but he might be able to race for a top 5 right here as this thing winds down. And just to bring home a point there about that you brought up about green white checkers for the restart, they have 3 of them tonight if they need them. So hopefully we don't need them. We can finish this thing at 50 laps, but they're there if we do.
Memphis going to be up up to the sky now, working that third position. You can see the back end maybe getting a little bit crumpled, but nevertheless, good momentum off the corners has kept Memphis within the confines of the podium with some pushing and shoving just beyond the confines of the top 5. You can see the 14 is Simon Bagus up top, and side by side, Dale Slides and Jared Davis going for the lead. And for the first time all night long, Jared, his dominance is being questioned, and Dale Slides, with the high side in mind, looks to take the race lead.
So mark it down. It took about 43 laps for the high side to come in, but once it did, the switch flipped, and Dale's going to be the one to take advantage of it, coming to 4 to go. I cannot believe that we have the high side finally for these last 5 laps.
Oh, take a look at this. Jared Davis now going to try to find a way to bring himself back to the race lead. He was dominant, controlling the opening portion of this race, and the middle portion of this race, and the late portion of this race. But now, 3 laps to go. The dream of the checkered flag is slipping away from him. The Jack Daniels, number 4, Dale Slides, all of a sudden has himself the race lead, and he's built up a half-second advantage in just 2 laps. Look at this. Jared Davis. Well, now he's trying the high side himself. Perhaps he can pull something together, but I think it's going to be nothing short of a miracle if he gets a chance at the race lead again. As with 2 laps to go, no caution at the white flag means this race is official, and the battles rage on further behind. 3 wide, Jeff Maconi going to be with Memphis Villarreal. Caution's out! We're going to overtime, and the reason is Casey and Simon.
That's not a good look there. One of the Maconi trucks out there. Very unfortunate. Look at this. Everybody moving to the top. Is he going to get a big run and the 14 going to close the door? Is that what's going to happen? Nope, not quite. It's not good there. Oh, and there it is. There's 13. The high side finally came in, and he gets caught up in a wreck.
And it looks like Brayton Last are also involved with the least damage of all 3. You can see Brayton up there, crammed in the high side. Should be good to keep on going as we are extending this race for a green-white checkered overtime finish. Let's take a look now what happens with Dale Slides and Jared Davis, your top 2. And you can see Jared now trying to get that groove all settled in on the high side, prepping himself for what's next.
And how about that, David? We talked all night long about the high side going to come in, and I kind of given up on it, and then all of a sudden in those last 5 or 6 laps, the switch flipped, and everybody had moved to the top right there. The bottom was just completely dead.
Now let's find out whether or not Jared Davis has what it takes to adapt. We saw him try the high side in that previous run, but he lost so much time in just that brief moment from losing the lead to get to this point. Didn't look like it was possible for him to get back for the race victory. All of a sudden, though, we're setting ourselves up what looks to be 1 lap to green. So a 2-lap shootout from this point, Chris. It's about time we figure out who collects the victory in Knoxville.
Yeah, and one thing I was curious about was would the 4 pick the top since he took the lead up there. But if you're up there, that guy on the inside, 8 wheels will corner a lot better than 4s. So I think you're protecting against getting ran into here and hoping that you can get a restart good enough and get back to the top. Here we go. This is going to be attempt number 1 out of 3 here. Truck is off. Great start there for the 4. I think he's going to be able to do whatever he wants when he gets down here to the corner. 2 laps left. He does move right to the top, as does everybody else. Does the 30 have a slider in it? He's going to have to send it. He tries, can't get there, has to back out. Contact from the 90. 22's also got some contact back there, but it looks like they will get to the white flag right here. 1 lap left. Lots of contact for second place. Beating and banging. It's all well behind Dale right now. They're bouncing off each other, and it's all for second place. Jeff's going to get caught up in the wreck back there, but Dale's going to come off of turn 4. And he is going to win this thing going away. What a finish, what a race, and it was all for second place.
Dale Slides leads the 9 last laps of this event, and the most important one, the lap that brings us to the checkered flag. Checkered is out for Dale Slides over Jared Davis and pole sitter Memphis Villarreal, and it looks like with the wrecking behind him, the number 4 escapes the carnage and chaos. You can see the graveyard of trucks that are going to finish up tonight on the wrecker.
Yeah, and I thought, a good rule of thumb is you want to, if you're going to wreck, you're going to wreck for the lead. Those boys were out there giving it all they had for second place, and Dale just said, all right, boys, I'll see you later.
With all things considered, Jared Davis is not going to get away with the victory, and instead Dale Slides gets the job done. Taking a look at your overall race results, it will be Slides over Davis, Memphis Villarreal, then Darren Bass, Angel Delgado, Tobias Matheson, Daniel Selway, Casey Sowich, and Zach Pecci, with Simon Backus concluding the top 10.
Yeah, and we got Brayton back there. We talked to him. He got caught up in one of those late wrecks. And Maconi there, Jeff Maconi, he drove all the way back up there to that battle for second just to get wrecked on that last lap and end up in 12th. Gavin McCool all the way back there. Jordan Liffen, the last car on the lead lap, the last car running as well. And you got Ashton Pritchard, John Lucido, Ty Marsh. All these guys just did not get to see the end of this race tonight. So very unfortunate for them to not be part of that finish. But what a job by Dale tonight. What a job. What a mastercraft on knowing exactly when you want to move to the top, when that top was coming in. And like I said there early in the race, when you're the leader, it's hard to judge when you need to move up until you get past. And Jared moved up after he got past, but it was too late for him to be able to win the race.
And just too little, too late. That's what defines the battle for the victory. Tell you this much, we're going to step away here on Maconi Entertainment, see if any of our top 3 drivers come around for interview. If not, we'll give you your final thoughts for tonight's broadcast, and we'll hopefully see you in the next Fast Friday. We'll return after the following messages. You're watching Maconi Entertainment here, Fast Fridays from Knoxville.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back here to Knoxville, where we have just finished the race here tonight with Dale Slides out front, Jared Davis and Memphis, they're running out the top 3. But none of them guys have showed up here for interviews after the race. So I want to give a shout out to everybody who showed up tonight. What a great race we saw tonight. Didn't see too many cautions, saw a few, but it's to be expected here on the dirt track at Knoxville. So it was a great race. It was always fun to come in here and call these Maconi races with David and whoever else is here. But tonight it was just David. So David, you got any final thoughts here before we wrap this thing up?
Of course, now, with this dirt race on the way, we got ourselves that money race we got our eyes on very, very soon. The Fast Friday schedule is so exciting because we go to such a wide variety of tracks, and whatever the type, they always bring out such good racing. I mean, today, you thought Jared David was going to win for some of 40-plus laps, and Dale was able to take it away from him. You can never quite expect what will happen till it happens. And next week, it's going to be another case of some Fast Friday excitement in the combination. The most unexpected late models at Dover coming up next on the 6th of September, and we would love to have you there tuning in once again. Maybe you can stop by, be one of the drivers to join the fun tonight, or of course keep on watching as some of the best drivers on the iRacing platform give their all on these Friday nights as they look for victory lane.
Yeah, and you mentioned next week. Next week's the money race, right? Late model at Dover. That's going to round out those 4, right?
That it will. And so, with that being said, we're moving on from Knoxville here, Chris, and we're going to head down to Dover for our next trip on a Friday night. Of course, you got the honors of finishing this one off after a wonderful race here for the dirt circuit.
Yeah, I want to thank tonight's race sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Compet Zone. Calling the action tonight was myself and David. And always great working with David here. David was also producing, so a couple different hats tonight for David. And thank you to all our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. And we will hope you will stay tuned to all of our social media pages for our next Fast Friday race. Once again, that's going to be next week in the late models at Dover. And don't forget to tune in each week if you're not racing to the broadcast of the top split of the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix series. And this has been a production of the Maconi Entertainment. And we'll see you at the checkered flag.